Welcome to the Grandshelt Knights podcast. I'm your host Panda, and today we got here Kuja. This week Austin was unable to join us because he's having some technical difficulties on his own side, so it's just gonna be me and Kuja here. But this week is Easter. We got bunnies, we got eggs, all kinds of things.
Sure.
Power creep? Question mark.
Oh yeah, that's not a question mark.
But we just had a nerf with them, though. But
I mean, yes, but they're still like bananas good. Both of them are good.
which we will be talking about these units. And we've also gotten ourselves this week some really nice enhancements towards some old units, which really helped them out now. But for now, let's discuss about the new Easter event, starting off with Esther.
Yep.
I can't say it.
It's Esther.
Esther.
That's it.
Anyways,
Esther.
moving on.
Whatever. Okay, so she's a damage dealer, physical attacker. Her TMR is Storm Kickers. It's 45 attack, 10 defense, and gives 2 abilities. One is Inner Limit, which increases her HP and your LB damage by 15%. Then there's also another ability called Stormborn, which is for Esther only, and it allows her to absorb lightning damage. This is a very, very good TMR. For anybody that is using LB to do damage, you're going to want to use this. It makes it, in my opinion, a little bit more valuable than, Martial Gloves or, in the future, Akstar's TMR and
Or Clouds.
Kingdom Hearts Clouds TMR. Just because you can get there's a lot of true double hand you can get and put it on your materia slots. This is gonna increase your damage for your LB, so if the unit's going to use LB, this is what you want to use. It's very, very good. Her STMR also is very good. It's Storm Bunny Jacket. It gives you 800 HP, 40 attack, 10 defense. It's close, and it gives you 2 abilities. Killer Instinct, which is for everybody, which is basically Machine and Stone Killer. And then Exquisite Weaving, which is for Esther only, which gives you 20% HP and 30% attack. So this is a pretty good STMR for everybody else, but it's bananas for
Esther.
For her. Yeah.
I mean,
again, it's a high attack armor with HP that gives killers. That's really solid.
It is, especially with adding on the HP and the killers and her own skill. She is just gonna benefit so much off of that.
Yep.
But moving on with her, the equipment that she can have is daggers, swords, great swords, katanas, axes, hammers, spears, maces, and fists, which is a pretty good selection, really, because that's what most of our users use.
A lot of flexibility and gearing.
But most of the time, you're going to be abusing for great swords.
Yeah, because she gets great sword mastery.
Yeah,
she gets attack from it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, she's a damage dealer. What makes her significantly different than anything we have currently is that she can imbue herself in peril and do retarded damage.
It is really nice.
Yeah,
because
and she can
add
mods to her attacks.
You can bring in
that
her.
Can't be dispelled.
She can imbue herself and imperil while chaining, which is really nice.
Yep, all of these abilities are dual castable, triple castable. It's pretty crazy. She's got 2 families. She chains with Absolute Mirror of Equity, and she also has, I guess, her own new chaining family called Bolting Strike. It's a 9-hit attack. But really, what you're looking at this unit for is this LB. It is really, really good. It not only does it do tons of damage, it's 14 times with an ignore 50, which is 28 times multiplier. That, you know, just happens to chain with Areola Ray. Well, it also gives her an LB damage buff of 35% and giving herself an attack buff of 250% for 3 turns. That's crazy because you're probably going to have her LB up every other turn if you build her correctly. And on top of everything, all her abilities fill her LB gauge. So she's going to be
LB spamming.
having her LB every other turn, and if you're unlucky, it'll take you it'll be your 3rd turn. So she's always gonna have triple cast up. She's always gonna have her 250% buff up. She's almost always gonna have that LB damage, and it makes her do tons of damage. And with a lot of things that you have, I mean, we got Kianos this week, which is 50% LB damage. We have Squall's STMR if you have it, but there's also Asura's TMR, which is attack plus LB damage. There's quite a bit of LB damage, and she's really easy to max on attack passives. So she's gonna be easy to build, especially since some of her passives, she gets 250% double hand in her kit. She only has 150% true double hand, but she's got 250% double hand in her kit.
There is also one more LB item that you forgot, Kuja, and it is for those people who pulled for an Arngrim STMR. You can really abuse this with her.
What do you mean?
Her skills are pretty much imperiling lightning. Arngrim's STMR has LB damage on it, and his lightning elemental.
Oh yeah, but I mean, since you're able to imbue with her, the fact that it's lightning doesn't really matter. You can use any weapon you want.
Well, I'm saying you're
non-elemental.
using Bahamut's tier for LB damage.
Yeah, if you are. I mean, but again, how many people really have that? Because it's ridiculous to get. It was ridiculously expensive to do that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, her passives, she's got stuff like, she's got a ton of extra HP, so she's really tanky. She's also the first unit that's immune to both stop and charm. So, she's not gonna be, I'd say imperiled, but afflicted by something that you can't necessarily cure. She's also got Machine and Stone Killer in her kit. She has the Ignore Fatal Damage passive, which makes her even more tanky. She has a chance to counter physical and magic attacks with an ability called Static Barrage, which is basically a Divine Ruination chaining move that full breaks the enemy.
Which is really nice.
50%. Yeah. So, she may be annoying in Arena. The only thing is it's single target rather than AoE like Lilith LB or Lilith like counters are. But she's got.
One thing that's nice about her is also the killers that she gets, and the killers she gets, and slapping that on also with like all the machine killer we have on global. She will murder, especially for like Alexander, I believe it was. No.
Yeah, she won't even need it.
Yeah.
She won't even need it. But again, you're not going to be able to imbue for Alexander because I think isn't he immune to lightning?
Yeah, he is.
So
I was thinking the other way around.
Absorbs it, but yeah.
But
I mean that doesn't matter. You could use
on Leviathan
a fire weapon on her.
Centurio.
There's a whole myriad of things you can do. I mean, you're not stuck to lightning because her attacks don't do lightning damage, she imbues herself with lightning, which gives you the ability to use something like, Cloud's Greatsword, or what's it, Buster Style, the Kingdom Hearts one, and then you have Ultima Weapon, gives you the ability to use those two, and then imbue yourself. Rather than, like you could, like you said, use Bahamut's Tier, or you could use, Squall's TMR, or what's his name's TMR, the revolving saw guy, Conrad.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things you could do. You could even save on a bunch of spots.
Oh, you can use
for a true double hand and just go with a one-handed weapon. Now it's gonna do a little bit less damage, but it's still gonna do a lot of damage, and you're gonna be able to stack, more LB damage or killers, or if she's gonna have open slots. Like I got her earlier, and I was able to, without her TMs, which means I lose 100% double hand. She was maxed on attack passives with a slot left over.
Yep.
So.
And also like what Awesome said in chat was Alexander. For Alexander, you can use Dark Knight Cecil's TMR or Glauca's.
Yeah.
Makes it nicer, and you can just LB spam and burst down Alexander so fast.
And damage wise, if you're really wanting to know how she compares to, certain units that, people say should have been released last month, but it doesn't really, or this month I guess, because it's Akstar really. She dumps on Akstar basically. She does about 40% more damage than Akstar does. So, and she's probably comparable to CG Lightning, and only gets beaten out by CG Bartz once he comes out, basically. That's how she's going to stack up. So, she's going to be good for a long time. So she is a good investment. Her damage is ridiculous.
She could get really high damage.
And there's also another thing you have to realize is she's also got a lot of HP, defense. She's not squishy. So she's not gonna get sniped like an Akstar would, or a Regina would. So you have to keep that in mind for her longevity as well.
One thing also I do like about her is that she can also become your tank.
Yeah, in a pinch, yeah, she could be. Or if you're doing a fight where, there's a lot of lightning damage, you could potentially make her into an AoE tank and use her to basically tank all the lightning damage.
She's pretty much Rotasa the Bolt.
Well, yeah, except she needs her TM for her to absorb lightning. But again, it's another use you could use for her. She's got both provoke and AoE cover, so the only thing is her provoke, I think it's only one turn. Yeah, it's only for one turn, which is unfortunate.
No, 2 turns.
It's one. Or I'm sorry, not the provoke, the AoE cover.
Oh yeah, turn. Yes.
Provoke's 2 turns. Mitigation's crappy, but it is what it is. And yes, her chance to cover is only 50%, but when you're AoE covering, it's 50% on each unit getting hit. So it's extremely likely to happen anyway. It's very low chance for it not to proc, and every tank has that chance not to proc. It's just so low that it never happens almost. So I think that's about it about her.
Yeah, she can do really good damage. But moving on.
Even for a budget build.
Oh, yes.
And she's extremely easy to build because you literally don't need... if you use a one-handed weapon, you only need 50%.
Which would be a double hand.
Double hand, basically. and we've been given free double hand materials from logging events. So you can get her to 300% and then just throw all your attack stuff on her, and she's gonna do damage. Ridiculous damage.
Moving on, we're going to talk about Sylvie, the little bunny girl. Her TMR is Twin Bunny Clips, which is 35 defense and spirit, resistances to fire, ice, water, wind, and dark by 5%, and lightning and light, and earth by 15. And also activates an ability called Happy Memento, which increases HP and MP by 10%, and increases LB gauge by 2%, by 2
Gauge.
crystal.
But yeah,
and it's an accessory.
it's really good. It's really good. It's pretty loaded. It's a very good elemental resistance TMR, and it also gives you extra stuff on top of it. It's extremely good. Especially if you're building someone that's a support unit that is LB heavy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Moving on
her
to her STMR would be the Spring Basket.
Very good.
45 defense, 94 spirit, 10% HP and MP, more elemental resistances, but this time 50 to earth, lightning, and light by 50. Paralyze null, petrify null, and exciting surprise.
Which is just for Sylvie. Yeah.
10% HP and MP. It's not much,
so
but it's nice.
It doesn't matter that it's a loaded TMR. It's got a ton of stuff on it. It's still really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So, the unit herself, her job is a paladin, and she's not a tank. But that doesn't matter because she's still really freaking good. She's got a loaded kit. She can do tons and like. The only thing she's really lacking is general mitigation. That's like literally it. Because I mean, she can cure all ailments, while also increasing resistance to all ailments.
She has 25% mitigation for magic
and physical. She doesn't have general, which is, in my opinion, it's better to have the magic and the physical separate because there are a bunch of other units that you can use that have general mitigation. She can also break attack and magic and defense and spirit by 45%. Yeah, that's not very good, but she's also got the ability to increase light resistance, lightning resistance, and earth by 100%.
If Marie was a buffer, is what I'd say.
Yeah, this is what Marie should have been, honestly, or at least for the elemental resistances. But she's also got the ability to buff attack and magic 120%, and on top of that, it gives you 150% LB fill rate buff. She's also got the ability to defense and spirit buff 120%, which gives you an HP barrier.
Those are nice to have.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and if you thought she was just a regular buffer, no, she's not. She's an imbuer as well. She can imbue lightning, earth, and light, all very good elements that, we don't really seem to have anybody that can really imbue them. Lightning, we do. I mean, I believe
Dash, Sakura,
yeah, and Ignis.
Yeah.
She can be an MP battery. I mean, her LB does that. She can increase resistance to all elements by 50% on demand whenever she wants to. And her other abilities is she's got the ability to remove all status breaks from you, and then on top of that give you resistance to status debuffs and stop.
It's nutty.
It's really nutty because all these abilities are dual castable.
Mm-hmm.
And triple castable because she has triple cast, which is even more nutty. You can even dual cast her cooldown abilities, and they're just nutty themselves. I mean, she can give attack and magic for 3 turns to one ally, 200%, and decrease defense and spirit to all enemies by 70%.
Which is really, really nice.
Yeah. And she can do defense and spirit buff to one ally, and attack and magic debuff to all enemies by 70%. Now, granted, it's on a 6-turn cooldown, so she's not going to replace your breaker, but she can do that, and both of these abilities unlock her triple cast. She also has the ability to give you 170%, attack, magic, defense, and spirit buff. The stuff she does is just nutty.
Oh, I
It's
love it.
Crazy. Oh, and on top of that, she can buff you with damage abilities, which have chaining of, absolute mirror of equity and bolting strike. With its physical or magic damage, you can pick it. It's insane what she has. Her kit is so overloaded.
I love how her kit is.
And it's like, and on top of that, her LB is, even though it was nerfed, which really isn't nerfed if they haven't come out yet, but it's still very good. I mean, it removes status breaks and stop from all your allies, and it increases your resistance to all elements by 75% for 3 turns. That's so good compared to what we can do currently, and what they can do in JP. This is one of the best element buffs in the game. Oh, and if that wasn't enough, she can restore MP 35% to all your allies, and then gives an HP barrier on top of it. This is a loaded LB, and I understand why they nerfed it somewhat. Because if it were 100%, it would trivialize all the elemental Tetris bosses.
Trials.
It would. You just take her, and then you wouldn't even have to worry about putting elemental resistance as much on your units. It's stupid.
It is ridiculous. Because you could just completely break a trial like doing this.
Yep, I mean, this makes it not broken, but still very good.
It's balanced.
Yep. I mean, the thing is, if you're looking into JP, there's no unit in JP that can come close to doing the stuff that she can do. All in her kit. And I don't know, are there any buffers that can triple cast in JP? Because I don't even know.
Not that I can recall.
And you can keep triple cast up pretty much indefinitely if you basically hit one of these abilities a turn. Because, I mean, and they're all good. So it's not like you're taking off a turn to, do nothing. Because the 200%, defense and spirit buff or attack and magic buff is good on any unit. I mean, she's just got such a loaded kit. It's not even funny.
It's nice because everything she pretty much gets to make her just have... Her 7 stars just pretty much giving her triple cast and stats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and her cooldowns, which allow her to... Yeah.
That's what I'm saying by triple cast.
Mm-hmm. And I believe if you use her TM, she has triple cast at the beginning.
No.
No.
All resistances to elements, 30% HP and MP, and 100% LB gauge fill rate.
Yeah. Again, which makes her LB instead. I mean, it's 46 crystals, but 45 crystals, but it really is half of that because of her LB fill rate. She has an 8ly, and then you could add LB fill stuff, and indefinitely have elemental resistance buff forever. and again, and that's where she's gonna shine. Really, is the elemental trials, because I could see potential where Zargaboth would be better for certain trials if it's heavy damage that you can't basically negate with elemental resistances. You might want to use Zargaboth and his 50% mitigation, but again, there are tanks that buff your general mitigation, which you can use them to do that, because she's got magic and physical. She's so good.
I'm glad I got her.
Yeah, I have one. Gotta wait till banner's over and I'll UOC a second, because she is extremely good. I guess that goes to the point where would we pull on this banner?
Yes.
I think we both said we have, and yes. Even after the so-called nerfs to these units, they're still broken. They're just not as broken as they were.
Yeah, that's the one thing about them.
I mean, they're still game-breakingly good at this point in time.
Mm-hmm. I'd highly recommend still pulling on it.
Mm-hmm.
Better than that.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you're one of those people that was like, I'm gonna hoard all my lapis for Akstar, yeah, stop hoarding your lapis and pull on this banner.
Yep, this banner is way more worth.
Yep, because always support units, tanks, healers have much longer longevity in a game like this than a damage dealer does. Now, Esther is still a very good damage dealer, but she's not the best unit on this banner just because of how good Sylvia's support kit is.
Sylvie's the real star.
Mm-hmm. It's just because, I mean, she's got a lot of stuff that you're not going to be able to do everything at, everything you want to do. But, you can overlap roles and she can take over certain things. Like, say you're using, right now a lot of people are using Folka to give you, stat break resistance, status immunity, or status ailment resistance, and stuff like that, where she gives you the option that you don't even need to do that anymore. You can use somebody else as a healer. Because, I mean, even right now, I would say that, an Ayaka isn't that great as a healer. She's still good, but compared to the other healers we have, she's not that great. But with her, the stuff that she lacks, you don't even have to worry about. And she's a fantastic healer on her own. Just Ayaka lacks a lot of the extra stuff that some of the other healers have. It makes her viable. She's still viable, but it makes her a lot better. And it's not just that. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can use this unit for. And you can almost religiously bring her into a trial, and she'll be very useful in that trial.
She's gonna be a huge part of teams for these trials upcoming, so just get her now.
And don't forget that these units are in the pool forever.
They're permanent.
So they're UOCable. They're UOCable. I mean, you technically don't need to get them now, but it's the best chance to get them. And it's as a banner goes, this is a very good banner because both the units are fantastic. And a lot of the time, in a double unit banner, you usually have one really good unit and one meh unit, and that's not the case here.
But besides that, I just pull.
Yep.
Pull while you can. But moving on away from the units, I think we should now talk about their event, Eggstinction.
Yep.
It's a silly name, but I like it.
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty, you have to kill Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah,
Just
good
kinda
old
nice.
Humpty Dumpty. Devil Humpty Dumpty.
Yep. So just keep in mind that he's got he's got element resistances up over 100% for everything except for lightning. So unless you're bringing a big imperil, you're gonna need to bring lightning attacks. Hence why Esther's really good for this.
Yeah. But also at the same time, Sylvie can imbue you.
True. And in each of these units give you bonus. So Esther and Sylvie 7-star 200%. They're 5 stars or 100, and then Zahn and Aiden, both old units that you might have, are 75 and 50 respectively. Also keep in mind that there's a raid type summon, and all their Moogles are in the pool, so essentially they're free.
Pretty much.
I would save your Moogles if you don't pull these units, because you don't know if you will in the future. And it's definitely nice to have a 100% Moogle sitting there for, on the off chance that you pull a Sylvie or an Esther. So, the craftable items from this event are pretty good. They're
Good
not
for
super
starters.
amazing, but again, they're pretty good for the fact that they give you a decent amount of earth resistance.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's good for starters, really.
Yeah, well, it's good for an earth element resist fight. I mean, it's again, I'll take all the element resistance gear you can take, because just if you haven't done the Dark Esper's Kai, the Ifrit Siren,
No, they all need earth.
you need tons of elemental resistances, and I have a ton of TMs, and I still had issues getting everybody up to a certain amount.
That's right, but you can't use earth resistance because they don't do earth.
Huh?
That's dark Shiva and Golem.
Oh yeah. I'm
not
just saying.
Thorn of...
Yeah, I'm just saying in general, any kind of resistance gear is good. I mean, you might not use it now, but the chances that it'll be used in the future is pretty high. I mean, and some of these are really good. Like the Tectonic Crown gives you 20% earth resistance on your hat.
With attack
I mean,
on
you
it?
could make a couple of these. Yeah, it's got a little bit of attack on it too. 10% HP. Like, this stuff is pretty solid. Like the weakest thing here is probably the Bracer, and it's only got 10% resistance on a Bracer. In an accessory slot, I mean, there's a significant amount of elements resistance that you can get from that. So
It's pretty neat. I say it's neat.
yeah, it's good. The raid stuff is good here. With the bonus units, it's gonna allow you to get a lot of coins. So you'll be able to farm up Cactars, Gill Snappers. So if you're low on Gill, this is definitely an event to put your energy into.
By the way, beginner intermediate stage gives you the UOC. Just in case you didn't pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
No, anything else you have to say for this event?
No,
Kuja?
I mean, it's pretty straightforward. We also have
Enhancements.
well, no, there's also the rerun too. The Rem rerun.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Battle of Judecca. It's, again, if you haven't done it, go and get the stuff there, because it's pretty cheap tickets. Rem is the bonus unit, as well as King and Size, so you're gonna probably have some of these units, so it's gonna be significantly easier to farm this than it was back in the day when this event came out, when you probably didn't have any of these units, or you might have had a King or a Size, and farming it was rough.
Just the pain.
The only two items of importance, I would say, is the Defender daggers and Siphon Delta.
Yeah, Siphon Delta.
Outside of that, I mean, the rest of these items are kind of crappy. They're way outdated, but it doesn't matter. You want to go in there and get like the 10% Moogle.
That
Again,
1%.
Siphon Delta, Defender daggers, and then the tickets. That's about it. Get in, get the stuff, and get out. It's pretty easy. Yeah.
Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from that, we also got ourselves unit enhancements, which we should start off with our boy Prompto.
They made Prompto not suck.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good now. I like what
Yeah.
they've done for him. He's become a little bit more MP hungry though for chaining.
Yeah, because they buffed his... Well, increased his MP cost for everything. But, I mean, he still does... He's a serviceable breaker at 65%. They, buffed up Circular Saw, which is nice.
Which is his chaining move.
Yeah. I mean, you can debuff defense by 70%. You can argue, honestly, that does, and that's one of the worst ones to debuff. You really want attack and magic. I mean, I believe you can debuff by 65% for attack and magic, so that's good. That's good enough. So
He's pretty much a backup while he's chaining.
yeah, I mean, they just made him usable rather than great, in my opinion.
This is something that he kind of needed for. Here, they made him into a little bit more serviceable for breaks or just increased his modifiers for chaining.
Yep.
They kind of give him both, so.
Alright, so who's next?
Let's talk about Arnea next.
I like Arnea's enhancements. I think they make her good.
Arnea.
Mm-hmm.
Just right.
Yep, it's that aerial supremacy that makes her spicy. I mean, you've got her normal. She's got increase her jump damage, increase her attack. She's got increase to spear mastery. Well, pole arm arts.
So special.
I mean, they increase her killers. And then they go and increase her aerial supremacy, which works similar to Sid in his cooldown ability.
Mm-hmm. So pretty much instead of making it that into X amount of turns, it's just one turn.
Oh yeah, yep.
They made her
And-
work so much better.
Yep.
It really helps her out so much.
Mm-hmm. It makes her from basically not usable to back to competing with Sid at least. I don't know if she does as much damage as Sid, but at least she can compete with him now.
Yeah. For humans, yeah.
Well, demons, mechanical.
Demons, mechanical, yeah. That's the things that she benefits for. Definitely enhance Arnea if you're gonna use her, and you also have Sid, but
Yeah, I mean, again, enhancing units. If you're gonna use them, enhance them. If not, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't bother. It's just too expensive. But yeah, she's definitely good.
Mm-hmm. Next up, let's talk about Lulu. Oop.
Well, they made her like similarly to Prompto. They made her not suck.
They just pretty much increased her magic so she can have more chaining.
They made her more tanky against fire.
Yeah.
And they increased the mods on Flood.
Which was
okay.
alright.
I mean, Flood is decent.
It's just
there's a significant amount of units that can chain with Flood.
So one thing I will say They could have just changed the enhancement instead of being decrease lightning into decrease water.
Or both.
Or both. Yeah, exactly. That's what I say. Like just.
Yeah, no, I know. That's one problem with Flood. It makes sense that they do. It makes sense for them to have it be lightning, but all the other abilities
Imperil themselves besides
imperil the
flare.
same element. It's just.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. She does get triple cast though, so
that gives her
that's
some
a good
hope.
thing. I think that's new. I don't think she had that in JP.
She did not.
So
Not that I recall.
that makes her more
usable, I guess.
Yeah. I mean,
Higher
again,
chains.
she's for her to be good. She's gonna need another partner that can flood chain and do
Pretty much
a lot of
either
damage.
another Lulu or a Medina.
Yeah, but I mean, again, a stronger version of that. I mean, that's the problem I have with mages that use black magic is the mods on the black magic suck
Don't hold up.
so bad.
They're
They're so low compared to attack, like, you know, I mean, just look at like a Sophia's mod on her abilities, or Ellie, and they're like double what, you know, Flood or Tornado are. It's stupid.
I agree. They could have done so much for this, but they just didn't take the advantage. They had such a good chance to make them better, but they just didn't.
Yeah,
take
I mean,
the
I think they
chance.
just decided they were gonna make her a little bit better than JP, but they were kind of like, she's kind of dead in the water. No pun intended.
Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
Yep.
But
I went there.
moving on is Yuna, the good old
Yeah.
summoner.
Yep. I think she's got the best enhancements out of them because I think she's the most relevant unit out of the four.
Especially for the next Sky trial.
Yeah. I mean, her enhancements, again, make it so that, I mean, her summoning gets more, I mean, if you do her summon ability, it gives you more crystal, or more summon crystals. The only thing is, why not make that AoE? Why not make the buff AoE? Because then it would at least be like, alright, I'm not wasting a turn just getting Esper crystals. I mean, she also has, she gets mod buffs to all her damaging skills, which is irrelevant. Her passive increases are really good, because it again, it's going to give her increased resistance to all elements by 30%. That's very good, especially for the elemental trials that are coming up.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna, again, like, just like Sylvie, she's gonna make a huge difference in the trial.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for, like, Ultros and Typhoon.
Yeah,
oh,
a lot of,
God.
I mean, if you have anybody that has elemental resistances in their kit innately, make it so much easier to build them when you're looking to build them for an elemental trial. And it's because 30% is a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look at your items. There aren't many that give you all element 30%. Like STMRs and like Rainbow Robe, which Rainbow Robe doesn't give you all, it's everything but dark. One thing they also increased was they made her cooldown give break resistance.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah.
Until it gets dispelled.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's another source of break resistance, which is, I mean, again, if you're not getting debuffed, you're doing a lot more damage. You can take more damage. It's just an all-around help, even if it does get dispelled. So that's pretty much it for the enhancements. If I were to rank them, I would say it's Yuna, then Aranea, then Prompto, and then Lulu.
Oh yeah, also, one more thing to bring up is... Oops, hold on. Damn it. But Item World is back also, so...
Yep.
And also for the story event, there is also the
Crystal Caves.
Crystal Caves, so if you need to enhance like Yuna here,
Yeah.
now's your chance.
I mean, in my opinion, unless you need crystals to enhance units right now, I would do the Easter event. I would farm that over Crystal Caves or
Battle
the
of
other
Julica.
the rerun. Yeah. Although if you haven't done it, if you weren't around when that event came out,
Do it.
do Battle of Judica first. Get that stuff.
That's why I did first.
Yeah. I mean it's 10 free tickets. And if you have a REM or you have some of the other bonus units, it's going to be a breeze.
Mm-hmm. Strongly agree. But I think that's all for this week, right?
Yep. I think so. I don't think there's anything else. I think we're actually getting the Vault of Hidden Treasures back for the weekend again.
Mm-hmm. We should be.
So, yeah.
Well, if you guys did... Actually, let's see real quick.
Pretty sure.
Events...
Oh, we also get free
on
summons.
the 20th. Yeah, it's on the
Definitely
weekend.
do that.
It is on the weekend. But if you guys did enjoy this, please make sure you guys subscribe. You guys can also follow us on Twitch. This is where we usually do most of our podcasts live. It's better when we have more people to talk with and discuss, and then we actually have more of a conversation going on. We also have a Discord. We usually tend to have some events going on in there, like we do some games together, like Risk of Rain and other kinds of games. But it's there. Especially Kuja here with Diablo 3. Anyways, hope you guys have a good one. Like, subscribe, share with friends. That's all. Anything else for you, Kuja?
Nope, I think that's about it.
Alright, hope you guys have a good night.
Yeah, have a great night.